have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words.
An impassioned plea from 16-year-old Greta Thunberg, accusing world leaders of failure and betrayal over climate change.
The eyes of all future generations are upon you. And if you choose to fail us, I say we will never forgive you.
We vote tomorrow. We strike today.
The youth movement has gained considerable momentum in the last year. Every Friday for the last 41 weeks, Thunberg's friend, Alexandria Villasenor, has skipped school to protest outside the UN headquarters.
I've been on climate strike in wind, rain, sleet, and even the polar vortex.
At 14 and too young to vote, she knows it's her voice that counts.
It's very frustrating seeing decision makers make policies because I know it will firsthand affect my generation. And so that's why students have to be there in the decision making.
On Friday, millions of young climate activists around the world in an estimated 185 countries marched to demand change, ahead of Monday's climate summit at the UN.
This is not a climate talk summit. We have had enough talk. This is not a climate negotiating summit because we don't negotiate with nature. This is a climate action summit.
Leaders made podium promises to clean up their act. Germany is doubling its contribution to €4 billion to help countries combat climate change. Pakistan will plant 10 billion trees in the next 5 years. Turkey's President, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, pledged to reduce plastic bag consumption by 75%, while continuing to focus on clean energy.
In terms of renewable energy, Turkey is a leading country in our region. We're generating 30% of our electricity out of renewable resources.
The US president dropped in to listen, but made no commitments. His arrival was watched by a scowling Greta Thunberg. And if this climate summit sounds familiar, that's because it is. The Paris Climate Agreement to reduce emissions was approved in 2015 and signed at the UN a year later. This climate action summit is meant to speed all of that up. The UN wants countries who've made pledges to now follow through with them. They've talked the talk, now it's time to walk the walk. Experts say a dramatic shift is needed.
It requires a transformation of our global energy system and our global food system. We need to change how we get our energy. We get most of it from fossil fuels now, and we need to get all of it from renewable sources. We need to change how we produce and consume food.
With the planet already on thin ice, the talk must now be transformed into action if leaders are to turn the tide on the increasing climate crisis. Outside the UN, Alexandria's pledge is to continue striking until those changes are made. Nick Harper, TRT World, New York.